that somebody should be pulling up numbers. People should be talking about Black unemployment. They should be talking about Black underemployment. They should be talking about Black people who stop looking for jobs. All these things.
Where did we stop when we start? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Media literacy, the etiquette is gone, especially here. Just lie to us for free. He been doing it with nothing different, but just here, just everything he said was a lie. Never brought actual numbers, statistics. But also they would just give him another opportunity to answer the question. They let him go rogue for a long period of time and then ask him, well, so what? So here's what we really asked, instead of saying, okay, well, that's not true. Actually, here are the numbers.
Perhaps the best argument that Trump has is unemployment. And he often will also say Black unemployment was all-time low. I mean, you can make the case that he rode the wave of Obama and that he was rolling in on a wave that he continued. He didn't change a trend. He just continued a trend. Most traditional measures of economic growth beyond unemployment, wages, business investment, gross domestic product, Trump's numbers were not just far short of being the greatest. They were mediocre. They were poor even. I just want to show you really quickly the global, this is in countries polled, levels of confidence in Biden versus Trump. And as you see, Sweden, 63% have more confidence in Biden than Trump. Germany, 63. Poland, 70. I'm not going to read every country, but you see, it ain't a country on this list. It ain't a country on this list that has more confidence in Trump than Biden. Kenya is the closest, and they of the ones I've shown you so far, and that's a plus 16. Or with a 59, though, is my point, right? So they're the closest in the system. They have the most confidence in Trump of any of them, not the best margin, but the most confidence in Trump. You know, Philippines up there, 68 to 77. But in general, even with those, Ghana's another sort of outlier. Nigeria, another one. Even Israel, and I mean, Jesus, I don't know what Trump can do for Israel. They still got more confidence in Biden.
I agree.
So I'm saying that to say that once again, y'all's president, was lying. Y'all former president was lying.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what the data was. And what'd you say?
Not mine.
Right. Fair enough. Ain't mine either.
I spent a lot of time asking about the audience, right? We're talking about 6 states, 6 swing states. They call them the deciders, where 6% of the electorate in those states are going to make the decision. The reality is that most of us who are engaging in this conversation now, who watched the debate, have already picked, we've already picked a side. We understand what the stakes are, right? And so what I'm reflecting on, Mark, is that, like, for most folks who are undecided, all of what you said about inflation doesn't matter.
That's very true.
All of the talking points that they landed, whether or not that there's veracity behind them or not, those things don't matter. And so my hope is that those of us who have the ability to parse, to fact check, to distill this information, don't abdicate the responsibility to do so for people who are far away from appreciating how everything that has happened tonight will continue to affect their lives in ways that they often don't acknowledge and or provide consent for. If we just step back from some of the theater of it all and ask ourselves who is most capable to execute the responsibilities of the person in the Oval Office, I will take the nigga that has spent his life auditioning for us to be in service to us over the 37-time convicted felon.
Yeah,
for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure, 100%.
The expertise is there. The expertise is there.
I hate that those are the choices. There was a moment where Biden...
There were moments where I feel like he did come back and attack. And I think it was more towards when he was running down his points about Black employment under Biden versus under Donald Trump. Just, what he's done for Black people. I think he mentioned working with small Black businesses, wage increase for Black people. He mentioned a couple of different things for Black people that he's done. And I think that's where he was coming in. He had his 1, he had his 2, he had his 3. That's how he started. He had his points, and he was very strong on them. He remembered them. He was very strong on them. And then, we got
to point out that he remembered all 3 of his points.
He did. He was like 1, and then he said 2, And then he went to 3. And I was like,
Mark
okay.
is a good speaker.
I said, okay, honey, okay, he know that one. And then even there, when Donald Trump tried to, tell him about his racist past, and I'm like, not the exonerated, not you saying nothing about, like, you can't. But and I wanted like Joe Biden to be like, excuse me, let's not forget, but let's continue to talk about what I'm doing right now for Black people, not Black jobs and Hispanic jobs, but that's where I seen Joe Biden come in a little strong.
So it's interesting that Rebecca started. It's interesting Rebecca started with the Black part of the debate, because that frustrated me the most. Those are the facts that he usually reads off at the Black History Month event at the White House for folks who work in policy spaces, and it's like, but if I don't have a job, then I don't give a fuck about the fact that you created jobs for somebody else. I got one of those Black jobs. What about my Black benefits? That was a moment for him to talk about the fact that they've made higher education more affordable. They canceled student debt for more than 4.75 million Americans through various actions, launched the most affordable repayment plan over, the SAVE plan, helped more than 940,000 people access public service loan forgiveness, something that I worked on when I was on the Hill, invested $16 billion in HBCUs. Those are numbers. Those are things that people like us resonate with when you say HBCUs. People know. He could have talked about that in a bit more. NBJC collected data. You can find it at nbjc.org/blackfacts. And what we found is that 2 things. One, there's no daylight between the values and policy priorities for Black LGBTQIA, LGBTQI folks, Happy Pride Month, and then non-LGBTQIA plus folks. We value fairness and equality, the opportunity to build generational wealth or access what we refer to as the American dream. And when it comes to policy priorities, number 1 is healthcare. There was not enough talk about healthcare and the fact that the cost is too damn high. Number 2 is the cost of things. So this goes back to, Mark, your points around inflation. That term gets lost on most folks. What we know is that the rent is too damn high, insulin is too damn high, the cost of food is too damn high, all of it is too damn high. There was not enough acknowledgement about how Biden is still addressing problems that were created in the administration that preceded him. The third thing that everybody glossed over that Black people care most about, based on our data across the country, shit connected to racial justice. This is why I think the tone-deaf response around having more police on the street was a big moment. There was an opportunity for him to talk about what this administration has tried to do to respond to the summer of racial reckoning and the ways in which white supremacists, emboldened by the Donald, have been an obstruction in that regard.
So can I add something? So when they were talking about inflation, because everything was just all over the place. When they were talking about inflation, immediately when Joe Biden was beginning to make his point, I think Donald Trump was saying that because inflation is what is actually killing Black Americans. And I think that would have been a great opportunity for Joe Biden to talk about the policing and how that is what's been killing Black Americans, especially under his administration, how Black Americans were affected, how Donald Trump, like the true issues, and like that would have been perfect. But the blame on inflation and how those opportunities again were,
or he could have talked about how many people died since his administration as a result of COVID, because this nigga said go drink bleach, and then he talked about, again, let's talk about fact checking. This nigga lied out of his mouth and said the VA rated me the most whatever president. The VA don't even rate presidents. I had to Google that to make sure. But
he kept saying it over and over. They love me. They love me.
You were lying. Let's ask the service people who were forced to deal with you when you were lying about having COVID at Walter Reed if they love you, you fucking bastard. So this is where I appreciate that you said, again, more. I wish that our president now had done more of the, you have the morals of an alley cat. You molested a woman in public, a porn star, while your wife was pregnant. This guy is 3 years younger and a lot less competent. A little bit more of that kind of swag is what my barber, shout out to you, Shelton, and the brothers at the shop have been. That's what they want. That's what they need in order to make that vote. And we got a little bit of it, but I wish that we had some more.
I wanted that early. I wanted him to swing for the fences early. Talking about the convictions, talking about, I didn't expect him to go to the porn star route. But if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna use that card,
if you're gonna do it like a housewife. Knowing how white-led institutions, white racial actors amplify white lies, like what those folks were doing on that stage, And we found that the same percentage of Black folks, 9% of Black folks across the country, are as interested in the Cornel West and Kennedy Jr. campaign as they are in the Donald campaign. And the inability for all of them to stand on that stage, to shift the way that we are thinking about what's possible for our country, is a reflection of how white supremacy works.